Hello and welcome to episode 478 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now, this episode has been, I would say, almost 5 years in the making, so I'm absolutely thrilled to announce that finally, today joining me on Mark and Me is Rob and Si from one of the best British bands out there, Broco. I absolutely adore this band, and I was actually having a drink with someone last night and saying, I don't think there's any other band on the planet that sound like Broco. They just have this unique sound that can be all different genres, and I just adore them. And I've really worked my arse off, I'm not going to lie, at festivals to try and get them on, but that would be a limited slot. I've tried to get them at kind of their own gigs, but I'm so thrilled that on this interview, we get a good hour to sit down with them both, talk all about the band's history, and obviously their brand new album, which is out right now. It's absolutely phenomenal. Go and listen to it, go and buy it, and then get yourself a ticket to one of their UK show dates, because their tours are phenomenal. Their live show is mind-blowing. And I don't want to give much away, but we talk about a lot of this on today's podcast. There's a lot of Ruben talk, there's a lot of festival talk, and all the stuff you get from Mark and Me. And just before I hit that play button and give you this interview, let's quickly touch base and talk about my last episode. It was out only a few days ago, but my God, the response was incredible. It was with the unbelievable Maximo Park. Thank you to everyone that listened. I think Paul is one of the best frontmen out there. So interesting, so intelligent, and the response was phenomenal. So thank you so much to each and every one of you who listened to that. But it's all about Broco. And trust me, I've wanted to hit this play button and say those words for 5 years. So let's do it. Here's me, Si, and Bobby from Broco. You're officially the band out of nearly 500 episodes that's made me wait the longest, so well done.
Oh, no! Oh my God!
Sorry,
Even Chino only made me wait 20 minutes. Silverchair made me wait 15. So fuck you guys.
Jesus, we're like on the arsehole-ometer.
Maybe we get a trophy or something.
Yeah. We have a shared common interest. So Dan Lancaster produced my band's EP about 17 years ago, and
what band were you in?
I was in a band at the time called Santa Fe, so this is how crazy it was, and I won't put this on the podcast, but he did us a 3-track EP for 900 quid.
Did he make you stay in the van outside his brother's factory while
No,
he recorded
we recorded in there, but he would be like, I'm just going to fuck off for a bit and play basketball for 2 hours, and we're like,
oh, that sounds like my dad.
Damn, we want to
still the same.
We still want to get it done, dude. Like, we're on a real time limit here. And then
that's really funny.
I then came to see you guys in Nottingham supporting Billy Talent.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fucking wild. 2012.
That's definitely one of the first.
Rob,
first
you were on the
shows, yeah.
merch stand, and I came over to you, and I spent about 45 minutes talking to you about how Ruben, Race Car Backwards is the greatest album in history.
God. We could probably do this entire podcast episode on that if you wanted to chat about Ruben.
They're going to be on there. They're going to be mentioned. There's a few.
I feel like there's all these American magazines that always, like, when you're doing press over there, they're like, oh, what band, living or dead, would you bring back, would have toured with? And I'm always just like, Ruben. And then I was like, what? I've got no idea what that is. I'm just like, yeah, go and check him out. Like, I listened to that record. In fact, I listened to all their records the other day in the car. Yeah. And they just, like, everything about it just still holds up so well. It doesn't feel dated and lame, and the production still feels awesome.
This is going to become Ruben cast. I already can tell.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it.
Have you ever tried to get those boys on the podcast?
Oh, I've had Jamie on 3 times. I've had Sean and Guy. But
how deep do you go with Jamie on Ruben? Does he like talking about it?
You should listen to it. And I'm not just saying that as a plug. Like, it's my most downloaded episode ever, because I got him to admit why Ruben hasn't reformed and the frustrations of being in the band towards the end and how he was like hating it.
Oh, I want to know.
I was like,
can you
fuck!
Can you give me this? Is just out of my own morbid curiosity. I have to know.
You have to listen, man. It's off the back of the we should have gone to university. Oh no, the remember they brought out the DVD.
We should
We should have gone to
what stays in
university.
older shot
Oh,
stays
that's
in
the
older
one. Yeah.
shot. Yeah.
And in that, he was wearing my band's T-shirt, which was really cool. So I was like, this is cool promotion.
That's fucking
Yeah.
cool.
So I went to see Thrice last weekend, and John was outside, and I was like, John, come over here. He was like, how's it going? I was like, okay. I was like, why the fuck are you guys not playing? And he's like, honestly, me and Guy want to do it more than ever. I was like, it's
Yeah.
2000 Trees 20th anniversary next year. Surely it's
Oh
your
my
time. And he
God.
was like, if you can brainwash Jamie, we'd do it. And I was
Can
like,
you
oh,
imagine? Like, I feel like 2000 Trees is the
Perfect.
festival of just like, here's everybody that ever listened to Ruben in one
Yeah.
field. It would be fucking unbelievable. I said that to when we played 2000
We
Trees.
saw John last year, didn't we?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw John, but we were talking to the promoter, and whose name is just literally, is it James?
James Scarlett, yeah.
Run out my head, yeah. And I was just saying to him, I was like, fuck that. Surely that's it. That's like,
That's the
that's what
ultimate.
it has
Yeah.
to be. Yeah. And
Every night could be a different album.
yeah.
That'd be
Well, I
sick for
spoke to
Ruben.
him genuinely and sat down because I've had Biffy Clyro on here for episode 300, and I was like, Simon, you surely should do it. He's like, I want to, but the management and it's all this and it's all about the logistics, and we're not that band that should be playing that size festival. It's weird, but there's all these politics. And I was like, imagine Thursday.
What, as in they're too big to be playing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So Thursday
no,
they
yeah.
just do like Black and Sky. Friday they do Vertigo of Bliss, and then end the whole weekend on like a best of set of all the new stuff, so everyone's happy.
No, Thursday do Infinity Land.
I want
Done.
that.
Yeah.
I want that. But they'd be like, someone would be like, please play Mountains, and I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I heard Simon talking recently about sorry if you want to actually talk about all this
Oh,
stuff on the
fuck Don
podcast.
Broco. They turn up late for interviews.
Yeah. Simon talking about those first three records,
Yeah,
and he described it as like a different band. It
yeah.
was like it's like it all almost like Biffy Clyro started with Puzzle. Not that he was shunning those records or saying that they weren't important. He doesn't like them or anything like that. It was just like there is a different thing, and it is like a really different thing.
I went to Glasgow at the end of last year, spent so much money, and I watched those three albums back to back each night. It was
We
mostly
wanted to do
nuts.
that so bad.
God,
We
we
were
missed that.
gutted we missed that. Yeah, and I saw like the videos of fucking like Ben crowd surfing like at the end
It
of
was
like the Vertigo Bliss set, and
unbelievable,
like
unbelievable, and every song was flawless, and it sounded. I was like, how does Mike Venner learn all those songs in like a few weeks? Like, probably has to learn like 70 songs. I was like, how do you do that?
yeah. I feel like he was probably like touring with them though. Like at that, I swear I saw
No,
Ocean,
he only
Oceanside.
jumped in-
Yeah, but Oceanside was supporting
Ah,
Biffy
okay.
loads around Infinity Land.
Yeah.
So he was probably just there watching him play the songs. Like
If you
the
ever
whole
dipped
time.
into my podcast, you'd love it because there's Hell is for Heroes, 100 Reasons, Idlewild, all
Oh,
the bands
sick.
that kind of probably
Yeah, yeah.
make you into the band you are
Yeah.
today. What I will do now is I will say, Don Broco, welcome to Mark and Me. Otherwise, it is going to. I will release all that pre-chat because that's good. But I've been trying to get you on at Download. I tried to get you on when you had headline 2000 Trees, but I've always been under the impression with working with management and stuff, it would come to the point where there would be the right day for me to sit down with you and have an exclusive episode instead of 10 minutes at a festival with Claire Maxwell coming in and going 5 minutes left, guys, or and I'm like, I'm really chuffed.
It's always
and-
stressful at festivals, isn't it? It is
Yeah,
tough.
so,
Like, I don't, from our perspective, it's tough, but like from your perspective, just running around and like, I feel like you then don't get to actually enjoy the festival.
Yeah.
Like, a
Oh,
lot of
mate,
the time.
someone's like, what did you think of Limp Bizkit? I was like, I didn't see them. I was waiting around 10 minutes in a tent for someone to turn up late. It was like, and then I only got 4 minutes with them. And I was like, how can I ask them about their whole career? But
yeah,
I'm almost at 500 episodes, and I've been very lucky. I've had Silverchair, Deftones, all the bands we've mentioned today, and I'm a huge, genuine fan. I'm not doing it for any press headlines. But what I have done is I've never changed the start of the podcast, even when I've had actors on like Anthony Hopkins and Mads Mikkelsen and Kevin Smith and all these different people. I'm very interested when it all started out. So for both of you individually, do you, even if it's embarrassing, remember the first album you bought with maybe pocket money, or your parents bought you that album at Christmas, but it was probably on CD or cassette, and you were like, even if it's embarrassing, what was that first one that you were like, I got this with my own money, I'm going to listen to all 12 tracks, it was $11.99 from Virgin Megastore or Our Price, and it's like, this is the album.
Mine's actually easy, and mine isn't embarrassing.
Go on.
So I still listen to it today, and it's an album that since I first bought it on cassette in my like later years, like growing up, I then purchased it again on CD, and again, I found it on vinyl. Only maybe like 5 or 6 years ago in Japan, and I lost my shit because it was like before they repressed it. And mine was Ash 1977.
Unbelievable. That
Um,
Star Wars intro before it hits in on
yeah,
track
it's
one.
insane. That's it. Yeah, it's like so good. And like I listened to the album today, and it's still like that's one of the most special albums ever for me because yeah, it was my first album that I bought with my own money on cassette. I remember vividly listening to it. I was on a coach trip with my grandparents from Norwich, where the people of like the pensioners of Norwich were given the opportunity to see London on a coach, and they
For
brought
a
me and
day
my
out.
sister, yeah, for a day out, and they drive around Canary Wharf and look out the windows and be like, oh, it's pretty tall.
Like, do not
Um,
leave the coach at any time.
coach, yeah. But I bought that cassette in, I think we pulled over somewhere at like a service station, and there was like a Smiths, WH Smiths at the roadside services. And I'm sure I bought a cassette from WH Smiths because at that point they were charting. It was like it was a
It was
mainstream
huge,
release,
yeah, yeah.
Um, and yeah, that was it for me.
Do you remember that
Mm.
album was very special because a lot of people didn't realize there was that hidden track, that sick party when they were all just throwing
Yeah,
up.
like
Do you
right
remember?
in,
It was fucking
yeah.
disgusting. So I was listening to it with my headphones on I was probably I can't remember how old I was, but I was in probably just my early teens or even late school. And I was laying in bed and it would get to the last track and I'd probably fall asleep. And then like
It
15
scared the
minutes
shit
later, I'd
out
be
of
like,
you.
what the fuck was that? And just hearing,
Yeah.
it's
There was a
amazing.
few bands that did that. I
Yeah, yeah.
remember, like there was.
I miss the
Did
hidden
Bloodhound Gang
tracks.
have that? Yeah,
Blood and Gang definitely did,
Bloodhound
yeah.
Gang. Well, yeah, they're definitely like falling asleep.
Yeah.
Prank was like a great one to get. We
Nirvana did it,
tried
didn't
to do
they?
a hidden
Yeah,
track.
Nirvana did it, I think, on
Maybe it's Nirvana. Yeah, I can't remember the first time I heard it, but I loved it. And we tried to do a hidden track where we actually thought to do it on, was it Technology? It was just
Yeah.
basically we kind of, the hidden track was like the demo
yeah.
of one of the songs on the record. But like that was the first release, I think, Technology was where people had like fully shifted to digital. So
Yeah.
people, the first, I remember like our first album didn't even come out on Spotify for like months until, it was released, and maybe the second one.
Mm.
And so we had this hidden track. We were so stoked with it, and it just, no one clocked it as a hidden track because it was just on the last song, but with like 16 minutes of dead space, so it didn't quite work.
Ironic as well, it was on the album Technology. That seems like really fucking
Yeah.
like this is
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
bitten us on the arse. But
Yeah.
yeah.
come on then, Rob. He set the tone with Ash, and Ash for me still, like you said, I listened to
Yeah,
it today.
no, I was trying to think. I mean, my first memory of making a choice
Yeah.
of, what you want is kind of embarrassing because it was Christmas and my dad had bought me What's the Story, Morning Glory for Christmas as a Christmas Day open. It, I was really stoked with it, loved Oasis. And I think after playing the album like a couple of times, still liked it,
Yeah.
but I asked them to take it back to, I think he had the receipt from W.H. Smith. Asked them to take it back and cash it in for the first Spice Girls album.
Oh no.
Um,
Fair.
Wow.
Solid.
Good
because
trade.
I loved Oasis and Spice Girls equally. And then I think a few months later, I think it
Yeah.
was before I got pocket money. I was 2 years ago, and then I asked them to, oh, can we get Oasis again?
That's so
So
funny.
that was my first time where I had any sort of, guidance. And oh, actually, I think I really want this. But yeah, the first time I think I actually went out and bought an album would have been, that I can remember, would have been the Slim Shady
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
help. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, obviously like Eminem had just blown up at school. Um,
I had the single of
I
My Name Is
Yeah,
out in
so I think I
Yeah.
bought the single. I bought the single, and
People are like, "What's a
obviously it
single?"
was
They're listening right now. Go,
yeah,
"Dude, you
yeah.
bought a single?" It's like, yeah, one ninety
I
nine
bought
on
the
the Monday.
single
Yeah.
Yeah.
from our price, and thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Never heard anything like it. Um, got the record. Obviously it had the whole. My parents telling me off, shouldn't be listening to it, but
Yeah.
still allowed me to listen to it. Thought it was the coolest thing, and then one level up, I guess it would have been a year later or 2 years later. The Dr. Dre record, 2001 came out, which had Forgot About Dre on, and I had it before anyone else
Oh,
in my
nice.
class, and it's probably one of the coolest feelings I've ever had of getting something early. I don't think they'd really pushed that single Forgot About Dre. So I remember playing it to people, and it's just it's still a
It's
great, an incredible
unbelievable.
song.
Yeah.
And that album's still amazing. But I remember that single being like the kid that brought that to the year group, and just
You must have been
yeah
for that
the
day like a golden
credibility.
god. Like,
Yeah.
this guy's got something
Um,
we don't have.
I
Yeah.
know it was sick. And I still love putting on those records. Really just
Yeah.
takes me back to those like you know early, well, late, still primary school, I guess, late primary school days.
it's like primary school.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's funny as well because I remember because of be doing like a paper round and get like £7 a week or something ridiculous back then, and then I'd be like, I can afford an album with my pocket money as well, so I'd go out to like Our Price, buy one
Mm.
because you couldn't get like you wouldn't be on YouTube or you wouldn't be like on Spotify listening. You'd be like, I'm going to go out and buy an album, and I got Reload by Metallica, and
Nice.
it's a good album, but at the time, probably I was a bit like, I'm not ready for this. For me, I was instantly like, this is wank. Like this isn't like the Black Album. I was like, this is terrible. And my parents were like, well, you've spent your money now, so I'd have to play it to really fall in love with it to justify
Yeah.
that I can't get another album now for like a month's time. So I play it and
Yeah,
play it and
yeah.
play it and play it, sniffing the inlay, looking at the lyrics, singing along, going, yeah, it's amazing. But really, I was like, this isn't that great. But I didn't want to admit defeat because it would have been like 2 weeks
Yeah.
then until I could have like Frog Stomp or something like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So what
I
about
do
live
miss
music,
those.
guys? Oh, sorry, Dan. Dan? Fucking hell, I'm reading notes. Sorry, Rob, what
No,
were you saying?
no, I do miss those days of like the excitement of obviously getting a CD and
There's nothing
going
like
down to
it.
the
That
shop,
feeling of being a kid and buying a
and
CD.
that's again like I did. I think I'm like, this isn't like a big reveal. I think I have mentioned this
Headlined on
before.
the papers
I
tomorrow.
I made I made a bit of money once as a kid. Just quite a. I don't blame myself for this. I blame this on my parents. I think this is terrible parenting. Because my pocket money wasn't loads and it would take a while to save up. But I remember Blue Peter at school were running this competition where it was like, I don't know, like 100 lengths of a pool. Um, yeah, and they had like a thing on Blue Peter every week where people would send in money and the chart would go up. And I arranged it with my school to have like a teacher at the local swimming centre to watch me count my lengths, and I did it all properly. Went round to all my neighbours, all my family, raised like 100 quid or something. Um, Sent the money into Blue Peter, and I'd missed the deadline, and they were like, "We've actually closed the charity event now," and sent the money back to me.
Oh dear.
Um,
See where
and
this is going a
I was
mile
gonna
off.
say, yeah.
and surely, like, I was like, well, what do I do with this then? And like,
Obviously, ring a
surely,
local charity instead,
yeah,
Rob, and find
just
an
give it
alternative.
or the
Yes.
same charity, just not through
Yeah.
Blue Peter.
Yeah.
My
Hello.
parents like, my parents were like, you've earned that money, you can keep it. So I could just buy every CD I wanted for the next few months, like guilt free in my
Fucking hell.
mind.
Guilt free.
So yeah,
Your
I
parents must have been
was.
like, go on, son. Yeah, forget that kid that's got cancer. You go and buy yourself Soundgarden.
I don't. Yeah, looking back on that, it was not the wisest guidance. But
I
yeah,
like that you've admitted it.
I had a couple of months where I could just buy any CD I wanted. It was a golden era
Mm.
for physical music for me.
On the subject of parenting, so my parents were very cool and they were very trusting when I honestly think I was about 12 and I went to Wolverhampton Wolfram Hall and they dropped me off and fair play, my mum and dad like waited in the car for the whole gig and then when I came out they were like, come straight to the car, like do not speak to anyone, don't talk to anyone, don't get involved in it, like this, we're trusting you. And it was Green Day on their Dookie tour.
Oh
So I was
wow.
like, first ever
At
gig, I was
Wolf Run
like,
Hall.
at Wolfen Hall, and they were a three-piece then. They have no kind of extra guitarists or live percussionists or anything like that. It was just the
Yeah.
three of them. It was
Sick.
raw, and I came home and I was like, Mum, I want to like literally dye my hair green. I want to play When I Come Around on the guitar and be in a band for the rest of my life. And I wondered if you've already admitted to stealing charity money and Spice Girls, Rob, what was your first gig?
What? definitely my first gig. Well, actually, no, it was between. I can't remember which order they came. It was either Sad But True, a local Metallica cover act,
Oh, nice.
or Teen Spirit, a local Nirvana cover act,
Dad But
tribute
True is
act.
the best possible
No.
name for a Metallica cover band.
And yeah, yeah, playing our local venue in Bedford Esquires,
I
and
played there with my old band. What a
I
fucking
mean,
venue.
yeah, it's such a great venue, and we played there all the time, at school
Yeah.
and in our early first few years,
Mm.
we play probably like every couple of months
Oh,
as
what was
as
the
a
venue around
band.
the corner we did when we played there? It was Hitchin Club 85.
Yeah,
Club
Club
85,
85, yeah.
insane
Yeah,
venue.
That was the kind
amazing.
of ping pong between 85 and
That was
Esquires. They
it.
were
We
the
were like,
two,
should we
like,
play there
yeah.
again, or has it been too soon? And like, maybe those four people that turn up might not come to both shows. And we're like,
Yeah.
let's do it anyway.
Did you ever play the
Phoenix.
Phoenix, which is the
No.
pub sort of opposite? It was well, it
It's
was
before you ascended to Club 85
yeah,
level.
it was
Ah,
the stage was like as big as probably this sofa. Um, and yeah, you could maybe fit like 50 people in there.
Oh, yeah, it was wild.
So like if you couldn't get a gig at Club 85,
we
you
always had to
could
be a support slot, but God, yeah, it was amazing. That Club
and
85 was so good.
it was awesome with all like the kind of trippy, like kind of hippie visuals at the back and just
Yeah.
like,
Like
the
luminous paint
yeah,
everywhere.
We
so
felt we
good.
made it at that point. It was like, God, we're playing Club 85. Like, there's like, I think like since like Enter Chicago had been there, and we're like,
Yeah,
wow, like this is amazing. But
yeah.
it's a funny world. So, guys, obviously, I'm conscious of time. I want to get as much Ruben talk in here as much as we can, but obviously, talk about the album, which is out tomorrow, which must feel absolutely insane. Just before we talk about that, I was in the studio recording my EP with my band, and Dan was playing Priorities to me. And at the time, I was like, this is fucking sick. Like, sounds unbelievable. And he was so proud. And I was like, who is this? He's like, Don Broco. I was like, this is so good. And he said to me, this band at the moment aren't taking the jump to like go and live down in London. I keep telling them, like, if this band want to make it, they need to go down to London and kind of be there, because I think you guys lived all quite local and you weren't like London boys at the time. So you must have done that for then the kind of release for Automatic, and kind of took that step and that risk.
No, we
No, we
never.
we put off making that
We
jump for
no,
a very long
we
time.
did it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we put it off. It's just, I mean, like it's so expensive to live in London.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. I remember Dan mentioned, and a few other people had said that to us. But one thing that I think we were very lucky with being from Bedford is the train. It's a kind of
yeah,
it's so well connected, and um, we really there was the first time we were aware of the industry and having to
Network and be
network
at this
and
show
be at
and
shows and we I guess we had done that sort of thing with our EPs. We were always trekking
yeah,
into London, giving out CDs to anyone who'd take them, just any show we went to as fans. We'd bring our demo. This would have been the EPs before we
yeah,
recorded with Dan, and we'd be giving out to just random people, fans, and also finding out. We were aware of who like the managers were, and
yeah,
our current manager at the time. We Googled him. We found out what bands he did. We knew what he looked like. So I remember the time we actually saw him, met him for the first time at the Barfly, I
Mhm.
think it was, and we were like, "That's Craig. He manages Bring Me the Horizon," and went up to him and gave him our demo. Really nice to give someone a physical CD. So I think being from Bedford and having a train as well that actually, apart from Saturdays and Sundays, annoyingly, goes back. There's trains pretty much every hour.
yeah.
From midnight. If you miss, as long as you can get back to St Pancras, you could get a train back. It might take you like 4 hours, but you can
If it's
you can sleep.
cancelled, then you get that
Yeah, yeah.
coach.
It could take a while, but
Yeah,
as long as you didn't mind, like sleeping, in the train station, you could get home. So it wasn't too far, and I do think that's annoyingly one of those parts of any business. You've got to put the face time in.
yeah.
You've got to meet people. Finding out people who worked at
Be at the
labels
right
and
events, being seen at
yeah,
the right
going
gigs.
doing all
Yeah,
that thing. But it's hard if you're not in the London centric area. It's impossible. So yeah, we were lucky being on the outskirts of that. And we only really, I mean, Si lives in St Albans.
Yeah,
I only moved to London a few years ago, just before
yeah,
COVID, actually. So yeah, I mean, it's just so expensive. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'd recommend any band who are thinking of making that move, like put it
Don't.
off for
Yeah.
yeah,
as long as possible. Live at home if for as long as
yeah.
possible. Like live with your parents if they
Do a
don't
paper
mind,
round,
and
get as much money as you
yeah,
can.
just
Yeah,
like it's just
You've
a
just got to keep your outgoings so minimal
yeah
yeah,
because you've got to put all your time into touring and making the music and doing all that stuff. And if you're living in London, you're spending all that money
yeah.
that you're making just living, and you're not going to have
Just to
the
basically
time
keep
available to
afloat.
be in a
Yeah.
band. Yeah, yeah.
So was there a time as an outsider and genuinely, as you can hear, a fan of your band since Priorities? I've seen you then go on and grow, and I've seen like the support slot then become the headline slot, and then I'm like, oh, go on, lads, this is awesome to see. And then it would be a case of like the album getting to number one, and I was like, fucking hell, this is a good time for music. Like Biffy at number one, then Don Broco at number one. I'm thinking like the world is starting to feel good again, like that time when we had all the great bands like Million Dead, Hell is for Heroes, 100 Reasons. There was a scene again, and I was like, this feels so good. And now it feels like you guys are like, for your age and where you're at your peak. You're working with Nickelback. You've got this album coming out. You've been on um, Sunday Brunch. You know, you're ticking all these incredible boxes. But as an insider in the band, have you been able to ever kind of take a real step back and reflect, or is it too difficult because it's you, because you're the band, because you're doing stuff every day? Because I've seen the posters, dude, like the 2000 Trees and then Reading and Download, and now you're headlining these sub festivals. You know, it must be fucking surreal where you're pinching yourself thinking, we'd have been happy just to play like the second stage at Download, and now we're on the main stage. Like it must
Yeah,
be there must be some moments where you must be like be able to
yeah.
just to see what you've really accomplished.
I think
yeah
you have to force yourself to do so a lot of the time.
yeah
You have to like really consciously take that moment to go, well, this is awesome.
Yeah,
And even in those moments, because like as you would know from being in a band, as anybody who has ever been in a band will tell you, like the way it feels inside compared to how everything is displayed on the outside is normally totally different.
yeah,
Even if everything looks like it's going amazing on the outside, there's still like a million things internally that aren't going right. And why hasn't this happened? And oh, why haven't we got that? Or why has this not done what we thought it would? You know, there's so many things that it's easy to get hung up on when if you actually just take a minute and force yourself to go, but actually, look at this, we're doing this. This is
yeah,
insane. You know, we never would have dreamed we could be here doing this and doing this with this, you know. So yeah, you do have those moments, but most of the time you have to tell yourself to remember and appreciate them. But
yeah.
sometimes they come really organically. Like I remember recently, when we were in LA and we're shooting this video with Nickelback, and you know I'm looking at Bobby and he's chatting to Chad, and like and you just sit there and you go, "What the fuck has happened here? This is sick." You know,
Yeah,
it's you can't help but feel like, wow, like what a hand life has dealt me that I'm able to be in this position doing this, even if all this other stuff's not going right and things aren't doing, you know, what we thought they might hear and here. It's like I'm in Los Angeles.
this
I'm
is
hanging out
awesome.
with
Yeah,
one of the biggest bands on the planet that I loved growing up, and I'm making a music video with them while my mates are sitting in offices grinding
yeah.
something they don't even like doing, you know. So yeah.
That's awesome because I think genuinely from what I've seen of you guys, even when I've just seen you backstage at festivals and stuff, you guys seem really humble. There's no kind of big like we've made it. I think you surely even though you've headlined 2000 Trees main stage at Download, in your head you must think, I hope one day we get to headline Download or we get to that there's still you're not like satisfied, but at the same time you're not arrogant with it. You're kind of like, fuck it, bring on Nickelback. Like let's do what the world we could just go as far as we can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
I
right.
think as well, yeah, you do. I mean, you never feel kind of satisfied. And in regards to like, festival billings and
Yeah.
venues and accolades, there's always the next thing that, and there always will be. I think we kind of felt that for the first time after headlining Brixton, because Brixton
Yeah.
had always been like the goal
Yeah.
as a band. As you know, kids going to shows. I don't think we went to loads of gigs at Wembley. Like all the bands we liked mostly were playing like
Yeah.
Brixton. That was
Of
like sort
course,
of the
yeah.
level of the bands that we listened to the most. Maybe a couple of shows at Wembley. So that was like always the pinnacle. And then it was only after we'd done Brixton that suddenly we were like, okay, like what is next? And then it kind of opens the door on just, you know, an endless amount of venues across the world and festivals across the world. Um, so I don't think like I've kind of stopped worrying or like, chasing that now. Like for me, it's like those accolades and those, signposts of where you're at in your career,
Yeah.
I feel aren't super like rewarding to, I think it's all about just enjoying the moment and enjoying and having a great show and enjoying, really trying to enjoy writing an album and
Yeah.
enjoying the process and putting it out. For me, that is the thing's the most important. And if you enjoy that and you enjoy the journey, then all these little things like, well, big things, but like headlining festivals,
Yeah.
that's just kind of part of it. But yeah, there's always the next thing. That's the issue. So if you get too caught up in kind of hunting that, it can be a bit disappointing.
So I've seen obviously a trend with priorities. Then it was 3 years to automatic, then 3 years to technology, then 3 years to automatic, amazing things. Then you've had a bit longer. And as soon as I saw that you were working with Dan again, I was excited, and I knew you looked like, because you're friends obviously, and you're like a big family, and you all have a massive love and respect for each other. But what I noticed was, as soon as I heard, was it Cellophane as the first single that came off, the guitar at the start, I was like, that sounds a bit like Corn, like something like Blind, that din in it, nin in it, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
this is sounding heavy. Like I know you guys are heavy, but I was like, this feels even heavier. And then the second single came out, and I was like, okay, Don Broco are getting to their real heavy period. Like this is like really fat sounding, very Dan with his kind of what he's done with bands like Muse, where he really makes these huge choruses and absolutely epic sounding kind of beefy riffs. And it hasn't stopped for every single I've heard, and it just gets bigger and better. And I was wondering, was there something in between this and the last album where you've just gone, I don't want to hold back. I don't want to be too radio friendly. In the same time, let's just go as heavy as we really feel like we want. Because your roots are heavy, aren't you? You love bands like Glassjaw and Deftones and stuff. So were you just like, let's do what we want to do and just see if it works?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've never really had a rule book when it's come to records. We've always been like, let's do what makes us feel best,
Yeah,
and let's do what we want to do. But definitely coming out of the back of the pandemic, and like getting to play shows again for the first time after COVID, which was like a whole incredible thing to finally get that release of, oh shit, shows are back, we can play. It threw you into like live music, and the heavier side of our sound just felt so enjoyable, and it felt like it connected so well on the kind of the heavier tracks that we'd done on Amazing Things.
yeah,
And then when it came to this record, we've never really focused our energies um, in a particular vein when it comes to an album. It's always been a little bit scattergun. It's like, oh, we'll do this kind of track, and we'll do this kind of track, and this kind of track, and it's always been quite wide reaching. We did have like the conscious chat to be like, let's make an album that is focusing on just this one part of our sound, and let's push that part to where we feel it can go. I'm not sure
yeah,
we've achieved the heaviest Don Broco could ever go. I still think there's always room for like, because yeah, we love heavy music, and heavy music is evolving all the time. Like it's so interesting. Like right now in 2025, the music, like bands like Knocked Loose
I
and
know.
that
It's
kind of thing is
wild.
like, for us that was Slipknot back in
Yeah,
1999. Do you know what I mean? It was that was like, oh my God, this is like shocking.
yeah,
It's like, wow. And now you've got a band like Knocked Loose in 2025, and they're bringing in that kind of element to like heavy music and youth culture. But it's like, what is it going to be in another 15 years?
yeah.
What, like, it's so interesting and exciting to think what
And
that
it's
could be.
mainstream. Like they're getting on like TV shows in America, and people are like, "Fucking hell, this is awesome!" It's like,
Yeah.
it's just, I love it. I love that you guys went on Sunday brunch. I was just like, this is gonna. Oh, how are they gonna do it? They're gonna do like an acoustic kind of trimmed down version, and then the moment, Rob, I think you said something like "Happy Mother's Day," and then it just went straight in with the screaming, and I was like, this sounds fucking epic. And that's a Sunday morning where most people are having their eggs on toast and kind of just chilling out at
Yeah.
home. And I was just thinking, look at the response. I think it had like 500,000 views
Yeah,
instantly.
it's
It just
sick.
everyone was all the comments like, finally, this is what it's all about. And I was thinking,
Yeah.
just
I mean,
stuff
we
like
did
that.
chat about that at length. We chatted
Yeah,
like, how do we do Sunday brunch?
Yeah, I think
That was,
they presumed we would do an acoustic version
stripped
of one
down,
of the new
beautiful
songs,
version. Yeah,
and we've done those before, and I think they knew like we could do that. And that's usually the sort of thing like a heavier band would do, but straight away we were like, no, we just want to go full beans on this. And I mean, it was a bit weird. Like you record the performance before you actually do the
yeah.
live show, so it was like 7:30,
yeah.
like screaming, screaming
It
at
sounded great
7:30
though. I was
a.m.
looking and I know you had like your keyboard player at the back and stuff, but I was like, this sounds huge. Considering you're a one guitar band, I was like, this is sounding massive. And that's always my concern when a band come out and bring out this incredible produced sounding album. Is it going to be replicated live? And I know some bands use backing tracks and use extra guitarists that are hiding underneath the stage and stuff, but it was fucking unbelievable, guys. Like
Sick.
there's,
Oh,
there's the
thank
five of
you.
you there, and I was like, the hairs on my neck were sticking up. I was like, this is sounding fucking unbelievable. And you still pulled off the Chad chorus, and it's still weirdly in my head because I know the song now so well. I was hearing him singing it with you weirdly, even
Oh,
though he
that's
wasn't
cool.
there.
Sick.
Yeah, yeah,
He's in the room with us in spirit.
He was
Yeah.
live on Zoom backstage, I
yeah.
think,
Yeah.
but
We should have asked him to jump on the
that would have
Zoom.
been
Yeah.
That would
amazing.
have been funny. Yeah, just next to Pete on his keyboard.
Yeah.
Very
Um,
good. But is that conscious thing where you're now like getting ready to obviously do this tour? You're supporting Biffy Clyro with the Marmosettes in London, which is going to be
Mm.
Chef's Kiss. Are you kind of conscious of making sure these songs are given, like, you do justice to them on the record? Because it can't be easy when you're making this with Dan and he's like, let's try this idea and let's fatten up this guitar and let's try this
Mm.
processor and different pedal. Are you like, oh, but Dan, when this comes
Yeah.
to playing live, you're putting a
Ye-
lot of pressure on me and Rob, you know?
It's an interesting thing because when we're making the record, it's pretty much like always just concentrate on making the song as good as it can be for the studio. Let's make the
Yeah.
best song we can recording wise. But we do have one rule. I've got one rule, and the rule is I won't overdub guitars. So there'll be like guitars will be double tracked in a
Yeah.
chorus playing the same part, but like if ever there's a part where it's like, oh, this is where a normal band would put a big rhythm guitar behind the guitar solo or whatever it might
Yeah.
be, it's always like, no, it's got to be everything has to be one guitar. So when I come to play it live, we're not faced with those decisions of
Wow.
like, oh, how do we do this or how do we figure this out? And it stems from all my favorite bands are
Yeah.
one guitar bands, like all of them. Like when I look back at them, it's like my favorite bands: Ruben, one guitar; Biffy, one
Yeah.
guitar; like Billy Talent, one guitar; like all these incredible bands. There's something
Incubus.
just so Incubus, one guitar. Yeah, I'm just always drawn to that, and I feel like if you put the pressure on one guitarist to fill a sound, you
Yeah.
get way more interesting parts because you don't sit back on your laurels and go, well, you play this rhythm bit and I'm going to play this twinkly lead bit or whatever. You have to sit there and think, well, how do I make this work? And it makes your band stand out, and it's just one of those things that I've always been so drawn to.
Especially
So
bands like Billy Talent. I still look at that band and I'm like, how does he do it? Like, how does he
yeah,
play those riffs? Like, and then he's singing as well, doing the backing vocals. I'm like,
insane.
you're a fucking genius. But
He is a machine. Yeah, he's like one of the best guitar players in like the last like 20 years,
and
hands
people won't
down.
talk about it because they'll just talk about your Tom Morellos or your Kirk from Metallica's. But that guy, it's Ian, isn't it?
Yeah, Ian,
Yeah,
Intasar, yeah.
unbelievable. Like genuinely one of the most impressive, talented guys I've ever seen live. Just
Yeah,
phenomenal.
absolutely, yeah, 100%.
So obviously I'm really conscious of time and I know you've been doing press and it's I don't want to like keep you waiting like you did with me, but
No, you go over. You out
I'm
of
gonna do
principle,
sort of
you
5 o'clock.
go over. Yeah,
Please take as much time as you
yeah, as much
Uh,
time as you need. Yeah.
I was thinking now, and it's a bit of an honesty, like a deep bit of the podcast, but do you guys get nervous, like knowing the album's out tomorrow, looking at the reviews? Do you shut yourself off and kind of not look at the reviews? Because if one person says, this is wank, it's the worst album I've ever heard, does that hit harder than the 10,000 people saying this is the best on Broco album? Or you get ready to go on stage and are you thinking, fuck, like, it's not a machine you can just turn on. You know, you can see as an outsider when I pay for a ticket to a gig, if like Thrice last weekend, are they enjoying it? Are they in the moment? Are they doing this just because they need to, or are they absolutely doing it because it's their love and that's why they've been going 25 years? But for
I
you
feel like
guys,
Thrice are definitely doing it because it's for the
yeah,
love. Yeah,
yeah. But are
yeah.
you guys nervous? Are you going on stage thinking, how do I switch this on if I'm not feeling it tonight? And I'm like, I know I'm just something else is in my head, maybe mental health stuff or something else that's going on in your life which you can't put on hold. And you're like, I need to go on stage and be Don Broco at his best. Is it very? Because I asked this one to Shakari and he said he has to put a mask on sometimes. You know, he was very, very truthful with me and was like, some days I really find it difficult, but once I pick up that microphone and I walk on the stage, it then clicks, and it's like not an option to be like I'm worrying about my poorly dog at home or something else, you know?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I think, yeah, there's many a night where you might not be feeling it, or it could be something serious going on. It could just be, you're exhausted because you've been on tour for, 4 or 5 weeks and you just physically are knackered. But I do find even when I mean, I don't know if it's for everyone, but I think I'm quite lucky. Like, even when I'm like not up for a show at all, usually within the first song, it might be the first, couple of riffs. It might be halfway through the first song. It's hard then not to be up for it. Like,
Yeah.
Because the riffs are so sick.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
what we
such a
live for.
riff
Yeah.
meister. No, I think it's like, yeah, it's jumping on stage, feeling the energy of the crowd, feeling the energy of the music. We've never, well, we there's like maybe one tour where we like experimented with like easing into a show, and we used to start off with slightly more subdued
Yeah.
songs, and
Build
I
it
can't.
up.
Yeah, there was one tour we started when we were touring Automatic, our second record. We really wanted to start the shows with this song called "I Got Sick,"
Yeah,
which is like more of a it's more of a builder, isn't it? It's
of
not
course.
like a full riff. And I remember our management were just like,
Don't do that.
"Don't do that." We're like, "Give us a go." And we played it, and they were like, "Nah, doesn't work." And we
And
persevered
then we'll
for
go second track, we'll do Nerve, and everyone's gonna be like,
yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck? Like,
We thought we were being pretty cool
It
by
felt it
doing
felt
it.
yeah.
kind of classy. It felt cool. It felt confident and classy.
Well, bands like
But
Incubus can do it. They can start with stuff that's.
Yeah,
I saw them a couple of years ago. Brandon Boyd was unbelievable, very accommodating, invited me on stage to watch them from the side.
nice.
I think you guys might have done that as well. I'm sure I've seen
Was it
photos
at
of
the
you
O2?
guys. It was before that. It was the Birmingham show before, but I remember
Oh
seeing
yeah,
photos from Dan, and I'm sure you guys were standing on the stage watching Incubus.
yeah. I wasn't around. I was gutted. But
Ah,
yeah, yeah. But
and
Tom was there.
they
Yeah,
can start with like 11 a.m. and really build up and just do
yeah,
what they
yeah.
want because it's like that whole real chilled out vibe. And then when it hits
yeah,
and you get like nice to know you, you're like, oh fuck yeah, this is great. But
yeah. It
I
didn't work for our
when
fans.
I want to see you, I want to be opened up with that riff, that banger, that get me straight in, get the
I
pit
think that
going.
was the
You know?
case because so we go that and we go on feeling so cool and confident,
Yeah,
and it would be okay for the first few, maybe like the first minute, and then you realize the crowd want the riffs as well. The sort of
yeah,
band we are, because we are an energetic, heavy band. That's what our fans want from the go. So once we just accepted that, like it's hard not to be up for a show
yeah,
once it kicks in.
Mm.
And yeah, then you just get you get lost in the performance and whatever was on. Usually anything annoying on my mind is cleared by the second song in, and then you can just perform and do your
and
thing.
is there pre-nerves
Um,
when you look at that? I don't know. Then suddenly make you have these, but looking at that poster and seeing nothing but fees, Marmozets who are unbelievable, and Biffy who are one of the greatest bands of all time. I truly believe Simon Neil's probably the Kurt Cobain for us today. Like he's writing songs that are just
mm,
unbelievable, and the lyrics and everything. He's an absolute hidden gem. Do you look at that lineup and think, "Fucking hell, we're on there as well," and you've earned it? But
I
you're like,
hadn't before, but now you planted that seed
yeah,
in my
Don Broco, pull out of show. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean,
it's yeah.
I mean, probably like I'd say probably speaking for all of us as a band, the only shows we ever really get nervous about are the London shows.
yeah,
Like it's
And it normally has to be a London show that we haven't done before. So like the first time we did Ali Pally, nervous. The second time we did Ali
mm,
Pally, not nervous. First time we did Wembley, nervous. Second
yeah.
time, not nervous.
um we ever played Finsbury Park before?
I was
We've
just
never
about
been
to
too
say
far.
that. I was like, I don't
We
think
No.
never
I've
do that for that sort of more indie festival. Was that?
No, that was that was a
that?
different park. I
Um,
remember that one. Yeah,
but we
Community.
community.
Yeah.
Is that somewhere?
But we've never played with Biffy before, and
Oh,
you
wow.
know,
That's what will be more nerve-wracking is we've never played with Biffy.
and they are, you know, they're I'd say probably as a band our collective favorite
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
You know, for me inside, they were like our band at school. You know, they
Yeah.
were the band that we felt such ownership from. You know, from Black and Sky
Yeah.
onwards. You know, we've never played with them before.
That's
We're
crazy
just
that you've
so
never crossed
excited
paths.
to,
Wow.
yeah. It's so
And that's what we're going to be Well, I'd be nervous playing with Biffy. Not because I'm nervous about playing in front of Biffy's crowd or playing at Finsbury Park. I'd be nervous playing in front of Biffy.
Yeah, because
Like,
you
that's
know when
where
you
I'm-
turn around, Simon's going to be on the side of the stage watching you guys.
Exactly, and that feeling of like, I mean, you can't escape it. It's like when
No.
it's one of your favorite bands, you want them to like your band.
Yeah, you want them to be like, this
it's
is
like
good show, guys. That was awesome. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've got no fucking idea if they like our band, if they'd watch us and go, "What is this tosh?" But you want like the approval of people that you have looked up to for so long is definitely a thing that like you can say you're above that and it doesn't mean anything, but it definitely does.
I mean, the most awkward and nervous I think I've ever felt was very early days.
Yeah.
I don't even know if our first album had come out. We got invited to play the Atticus Christmas party.
Oh my God.
Do you remember Atticus
I
Clothing?
do.
Like,
yeah,
who,
everyone, all the emos were buying it.
yeah, so it was a
This is
Tom and
savage.
was it Tom and Mark from Blink started it?
Yeah.
As a kind of, you know, alt clothing label, and they had a
UK
a
distributor.
UK distributor who was hosting a Christmas party.
Madam Jojo.
Madam Jojo's in Soho. And we were asked to play as the entertainment, and we were very like honored to be invited.
And like Madam, just to set the scene, if people don't know what Madam Jojo's is, it's basically a strip club, right? It's got like a really strange stage at the back, which is not designed for bands. It's
It's a
tiny.
strip club. It's more like burlesque.
Yeah.
Burlesque, yeah, it's really, really
There's
tiny.
there are only poles.
The stage is like bizarrely high up as well. Like it's crazy high up. So you're basically performing on this plinth,
Yeah.
which doesn't feel natural.
And you're so as well, you know, it was a Christmas party. It was free drinks.
Oh God.
Everyone was at the bar getting the free drinks.
No one's around
The
stage.
stage is like a little walk away, and no one was watching us.
There's
Fair
a,
enough.
there's a
man.
few seats though. There's like a button right next to the stage. Literally, like if Bobby's performing, there's a couple of stools that are this far from the stage, just next to it, and they're empty.
Yeah.
Oh
and yeah.
man.
And we're there, we're playing to no one. You know, kind of like occasionally like looking at the
Background
people at the
music.
bar.
Yeah.
And then in walks Chino and the rest of the Deftones
It
guys.
was Chino and Abe.
That is
Um,
insane.
And rather than like hanging out at the bar or going anywhere, they take these seats basically next to the stage.
Oh my lord.
They're basically a meter away from us.
They don't want to get
And,
punished at this Christmas party because they're the only people of any recognizability
Yeah.
there. So they're clearly like, well, get us away from all these drunk people at Christmas. We're going to just watch
Yeah.
this
I love
band.
White Pony. Fuck off, you drunk idiot. Yeah.
And honestly, I'm like, oh my god! So now who am I looking at? I've got Chino right there. He's not in the crowd, so I'm still kind of performing to this empty space, looking up. You know, I've got one of my idols right so
Jesus,
close,
man.
and then to make it worse, our manager at the time probably felt a bit sorry for us. Had a few drinks and decided to like go on the dance floor and just like sexy
Move about.
dance, sexy
Oh,
dance by
Like a
herself.
drunk uncle at a wedding. Like, go away, please.
It was bad. It was so bad.
But they were lovely. Like
I was
after
going
we
to say,
played,
did Chino say, like, good set, guys? Or
he was lovely.
He was lovely, and Abe in particular was so nice.
yeah.
They were like so complimentary that I think they might have been lying.
Or
It's
drunk.
like- yeah, or drunk.
It's also at
Very
this point
drunk.
like we're playing like Thug Workout. It's like it's full on.
Yeah.
I can't even remember if Priorities have been released.
No, it would
yet.
have been pre-priority.
Just before that.
Liberation.
Wow.
So we're playing like stuff that, looking back, is charming and endearing,
Yeah.
but not necessarily like the most like good representation of songwriting or anything. And yeah, it's a that's the only time that we've been able to have like a private audience of Deftones
Wow.
to impress. Yeah.
Right, two more questions. First one is quite an easy one. If I was literally booking Download Festival and I came to you and said, right, guys, I think this is the point where we took that risk with Sleep Token and we're going to give you that chance to headline. You know, we're going to give you, I think Cam could say to you, right, Don Broco, Friday night headliners, main stage, or you get to go on a 6-month tour and do a anniversary for Ruben. They reform and it's just you guys each night for 6 months doing
That's so easy.
whatever you want. And
Even if it was one night, I would take the Ruben. Like one night with Ruben playing Race Car versus that.
And you get to support them.
Yeah, I mean, I would obviously like absolutely give like my eye teeth to headline Download, but I'm sure Cam would respect the fact that one night with Ruben is something.
One night with Ruben sounds like a great like.
Sounds like a
That's
porno.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Swedish porno with Mr. Ruben. Yeah.
That's it. The ideal would be that we headline Download and we get to curate it and we just bring on Ruben out of nowhere.
Oh, that's a clever.
In the middle of our set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get best of both then.
Yeah,
What song would you do?
With Ruben?
Yeah.
I'd do Return of the Jedi.
I'll do Moving to Blackwater.
Nice, yeah.
Rob, come on.
Wow. That's a toughie. Things Return of the Jedi has just been our like jam from the beginning. That's been like that is.
I feel like anyone who's ever been like in a band struggling, listening to that song is like, that's about me.
Yeah,
that's about my band.
I could see you guys doing it as well. It's like about a 6-minute song, isn't it? I could see you guys like getting Guy up on stage and oh god, fuck Nickelback. Yeah. Let's get the
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm fantasizing now, imagining it, and like Download going, you didn't say anything about this, and no one giving a shit. Like we're doing it.
Yeah.
Right, I'll speak to Jamie. I'll speak to Jamie. I'll speak to Jamie and say, look,
anything's gonna get him back playing. That's
surely.
Surely.
I saw them at Download, on the main stage. One of my first ever. It was Tool, Guns N' Roses, and Metallica, and they were the first band of the day on the Friday. And
why have I seen that as well? Was that on their DVD?
Oh yeah, I think they talk about it, and then they made all the crowd like they were on pogo sticks, and it was very early. It was like midday.
Clip. Yeah.
And it just you could see Jamie was like, we've kind of this is unbelievable. At the same time, it was midday, and people were just getting up hungover and being like, oh, let's go and see this band called Ruben. And I was like, you have no idea, guys. This is history being made right now.
Yeah.
It's a weird atmosphere, like midday Download, especially on like the Saturday when everyone's just
dead.
Yeah.
Final question, and this is the end to every podcast I do. Usually it's one guest, so we'll let you both kind of wrestle over it. What I do is every guest that's been on, it doesn't matter if you're an actor, director, producer, or a band, you get to choose a piece of music that means so much to you that when the podcast is edited and ready for the world to listen to, it's the outro music that plays. So it's not Don Broco. It's a song that means so much to you. Maybe the song you have at your funeral or that you get married to or whatever it is. But the song that when I asked the question came to your heart and soul and your head before any other, that when I literally say, thanks Don Broco for today, it then plays out. What would your choice be?
That's a hard question.
All I've got in my head there is I just want to Return of the Jedi.
Brandon Boyd asked me literally to come back to me 2 days later, and then he did email me and was like, can I have this song? I was like, and it was Jeff Buckley, Grace, and I was like, yeah, that's fine.
Legend, yeah, fair play.
But I've now said no, even to like Chino, like you've got to tell me on the spot. So you're not allowed to like suddenly text me at 4 a.m. Pick? Oh my god, it was because they were doing the Crosses tour. I met them on their tour bus and we sat down, and I think it was The Cure. I can't remember which song, but it made sense. And I was like,
I thought you were going to say because we're on the Crosses tour and he wasn't allowed to pick Deftones, he picked Crosses.
He actually said, there's this band that I saw. I was in this like sort of strip joint, and it was many years ago. I think they were called Broco or something. That would have been cool. Imagine you picked Don Broco.
That would be insane. I mean, I wonder if they.
That's the new goalpost. Yeah, we're talking about goalposts and like what? Yeah, that's the new one. We'll only be satisfied when Chino picks a Don Broco song.
That'd be amazing. So, is it?
I'd pick like one song that again that came on like my shuffle the other day was, was Just Boy.
Oh man,
And
What song?
it just hits in such, it's one of those songs that it's got so much nostalgia for me as a kid discovering,
yeah.
alt rock music, and also just it's still such just an incredible song that like
That
just
chorus.
really just the chorus just hits. It's just such a big, great song, and it's still. I know we were saying earlier how like maybe Simon feels like that isn't. It's not the new Biffy, but like for me, that
No,
really
that's my Biffy.
for
Yeah.
me that still sums up and like the core of just great songwriting and
The epicness of the
emotional
rawness of
epicness.
the guitar. It's just
Yeah,
so fat in that, like, then you get the freeway vocals and you're like, the two brothers are harmonizing and they're each doing bits. And I'm just sat
it's
there
just
like,
so good, and yeah, it's kind of it brings it all together for me as and them as a band, and I think as well because we're excited about the show. You then deep dive of we have been listening to a lot of their records recently, and that one just still is for me just
it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
such a gem.
And then you get like songs like 57 and you're like, fucking hell, like this, it was ahead of its time. People weren't ready.
Christopher's
Imagine
River.
it now being produced and being put out.
Christopher's River. That was like
That was like the album track. That was like
Yeah.
the album track. Yeah, I feel like if you produce that album again now, like there's something about the way those first three records are produced, and they're just so raw,
Yeah.
and they just punch in this way that modern records punch in a very different way to how those records
No, that's
hit.
fair. It's for its
Um,
time, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, I love the production on those records. They sound the fact there's so little going on means
Isn't
that the elements.
is it Chris Sheldon that did those?
I think it is.
I think it
he did-
is, yeah.
Yeah. He definitely did. I think the second one,
Yeah.
Vertigo. I can't remember if he did the first one, but yeah, there's so little going on that the elements that are in there, there's so much space for them to be so fat. Like the
Oh,
guitars, the bass, the drums. It's like I love New Biffy, and I love where they've taken their sound, and I love the fact that they throw everything at it now.
yeah,
But I loved when they threw nothing at it.
yeah.
And it was just so simple in terms of its like the pieces of the puzzle were just so yeah.
Oh, I want to go and to listen to Biffy now. After this, literally, I'm going to hang up and just go and listen to like Now the Action's on Fire or something like that.
Oh my
Just-
God, yeah,
God.
Toys.
So are we agreeing on Just Boy? Because I would rather
Yeah,
have
let's go
one
Just
song.
Boy. Let's
It's
go
easier
Just
for me
Boy.
to edit.
Yeah.
Thank you,
go
boys,
it.
for today. It's been a long time coming, and I truly mean this. Like, I'm a fan of you guys. I can't wait to see you in London. I'll come to your Birmingham show as well for your actual own tour, because
Sick.
the venues are a little bit smaller, and I'm like, this is going to be fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it should
Yeah,
be
we're
wild.
excited.
We're excited.
Because we
Yeah.
did I mean, we do love doing the arena shows. Like they are fun. Putting on that scale
Yeah.
production is always like it feels very like showbiz, but there's something just
The
about
sticky
doing
floors, a bit of
sticky
beer,
floors,
yeah.
and like going back to like a kind of more like it feels a lot realer, which is
Yeah.
always great for the
And the
the
crowd and
connection you
everything,
feel.
everyone that's going is a real fucking diehard fan that's had to be on Ticketmaster going, come on, I want a ticket. Instead of just, people going, oh, should we go and check this band out? It's all the
Yeah.
hardcores.
Yeah.
Don't do that gig and start with Nerve. Don't. Guys,
We've
come on.
learned our lesson.
Yes.
We learn, yeah, listen to some people sometimes, yeah.
I will end by saying good luck because the listeners out there won't know this, but the album's out tomorrow. Mind-blowing, absolutely sensational stuff I've got in advance, and I can't fucking wait for the world to hear it because I think right now it's a mad thing, but maybe because it's the freshest, but it's your best album. It's just all of you
Oh,
are
thank
firing
you.
at the best range, and to hear like Nickelback and it not even be just a sample that he was there and got involved, and I just don't know, like the fact that is it tonight or tomorrow you've got Sam Carter on the Radio 1 first
Tomorrow,
play?
yeah.
Like it's just I don't know how you kind of calm you guys down now. It's just like you're on a roll and you deserve it because you've worked for years for it. So I really
Thank you very
appreciate your
much.
time coming on the podcast, and I will
Thank you, mate.
definitely come and say hello to you guys when I see you in Birmingham.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
See
Cheers,
you
man.
soon.
Good luck with everything. Thanks for everything, and I will see you all guys soon.
Thank
mate.
you.
Take care, guys.
I had enough. You're out of patience, forgot how to love. Asleep in your makeup. Can't stop, can't stop.
So there it is. There's the interview that I've been waiting 5 years for. And trust me, it was worth every single moment of the wait. So much fun, so easy to talk to, so much banter, and the chemistry was just like I've known them all my life. What a band. Please go and check out everything they've ever done because they're absolutely phenomenal. Their live shows are amazing. I can't wait to see them in the summer when they're supporting. My God, it's going to be amazing. They've got Marmozets, Nothing But Thieves, and then headlining the incredible Biffy Clyro. So that's just going to be absolutely mind-blowing. Also go and listen to their album Nightmare Tripping. It's out literally now and is phenomenal. Absolutely their best work to date, I believe. And as always, guys, please share the episodes. It takes you literally the click of a couple of buttons. This one is going to be massive. I know it already because people love this band and they're absolutely huge. And I wouldn't be surprised if next week they have a #1 album because they're just getting bigger and better and they deserve it all because they're one of the hardest working bands out there. So please share it. Go on your Instagram stories, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, do whatever you need to do, but hit those share buttons because it really does go a long way in getting the word out there and cost you nothing. Talking about costing nothing, you could cost you a little bit if you want because I do have a Patreon account and you can sign up on there for as little as £1 a month. All the money goes right back into the podcast production, allows me to go out there and record more interviews for you guys at home. But to say thanks, you get a welcome pack with some stickers, you get this exclusive pin badge and a monthly newsletter and exclusive episodes called The Lost Tapes. So please, anything you can give goes right back into the podcast and really goes a long way. Before I go, let's give a shout out to the sponsors of Mark and Me. Firstly, Richer Sounds. If you want to get yourself a brand new TV, a projector, anything to do with audio and visual, go on richersounds.com or visit any of their high street stores. And secondly, Vice Press. If you want a movie poster for one of the best movies out there, all licensed, all official by the best artists in the world, go on vicepress.com, add anything to your basket and literally use the discount code MarkandMe10 to get yourself 10% off your first purchase. Now, I do realise I sound quite croaky on today's episode. It was a very close friend's birthday yesterday. They were the big 5-0, so I celebrated in style, had a bit of a big night, but I can now feel it now. So when I'm talking, it probably doesn't quite sound like me. But it is me, and I want to say thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in to today's episode. It will only be a few days until another brand new episode. And remember, if you want to watch this interview, it's also live now on YouTube. So you can go over there and watch us three talking all about Don Broco and their band's history. And I think people really dig that. I'm seeing a lot of people getting great comments and feedback on there. So yeah, go and check it out. But that's enough from me for today. Look after yourself. Go and listen to Don Broco. Buy an album, get a ticket, and I'll speak to you all very soon.